Hey folks, Chris Souders, Slunger Cat Outdoors. Been getting a lot of questions on what kind of rig I fish out of, how I have it set up, things inside my rig. So I'm gonna make a quick little video today, show you guys from beginning to end, from the front trolling motor to the power motor in the back, give you guys some ideas, some things to help you out on your boat, and hopefully give yourself more room on your boat. That's what it's all about, is having more room to fish off of on your boat. So let's take a look from the beginning. First off, we're powered with a Minn Kota Terrova 80 iPilot. It works very well for me, lakes, rivers, wherever I'm fishing at. As a lot of you know, I'm huge into flathead fishing, so I depend a lot on what I'm getting ready to show you guys. Up in the front is our locker, anchor locker, just like on most Pro Cat 200s. I use 30-pound anchors. These are anchors that I make myself. They're breakaway anchors. And for those who don't understand what a breakaway anchor is, whenever you get it snagged up into rocks, or whenever you drop your anchor and you get it, it hangs up, if you can't pull it back in, this will break and let your chain come to the front and essentially pull the anchor back out straight and keep you from losing a whole anchor. All you gotta do is put another zip tie on it and go on. Now, other things we keep up here are drift socks, and these little ammo boxes are really good to store different size drift socks in. If you're like me, I'll keep 2 or 3 or 4 different sizes in the boat depending on what I need. So these keeps everything organized, out of the way. They're not getting all tangled up, and essentially is going to save you time while out on the water fishing. Also, you can just throw bait nets and whatever else you need. This is a nice big area. Something else that I depend on a lot is an anchor ball. While pulling that 30-pound anchor, instead of having to pull it by hand, we use this anchor ball. And I'm going to make a video here shortly on how to safely use an anchor ball to keep yourself from getting your anchor line wrapped inside your motor and ultimately could possibly sink the boat. So keep your eye out for that video. Okay, so a buddy of mine gave me this rod rack, and it is super. It keeps the rods up out of the floor. It keeps you from stepping on them and breaking them. And what it is, it's just a Cabela's 8-rod rod system, rod rack, that is actually made to go into a seat pedestal, but I didn't want to buy a seat pedestal and put it in the floor, so I just had a guy weld a aluminum bracket to it and bolted it straight to the floor, so it's it's stronger. I mean, that thing, it's not going nowhere, and that's what I want. So next, I'll show you guys the Livewell. It's in the Pro Cat 200 and the 240s. They come stock with a 30-gallon Livewell, and lo and behold, we got a leftover in there. Boy, it sure does smell good. Shoo. He's been in there a while. We'll feed him to the coons, but oh man, that's nasty. We'll close that back up. But I bought in the stock in a Pro Cat, they don't have but one lid in the deck. I bought another lid and put it in. It just makes it easier to get to things for me. They have a panel here, access panel, but to me it's easier. I have my oxygen tank set up for my live well, or for my bait well up here. Recirculating pump 750, and it's hooked to a Venturi fitting, which sends oxygen and recirculates for the bait well. Now, storage boxes. Once again, the Sea Arcs are horrible about storage, so I just bought these truck boxes that fit right in here. Plenty of room to put all your stuff, life jackets, gloves, toboggans, hats in one side, and then okay, on this side we got another storage box, I keep, you know, sinkers, plastic bags, gear bags. It's always good to keep an extra reel. You never know when you're going to bust one up. A quick tip on reels: whenever you're keeping one extra, if you got line on it, you always want to make sure that your line doesn't come back into the reel. If it comes back into the reel, you're gonna have a hard time. It's not going to want to feed on and off the spool very well. So always just hook it on the engager or somewhere on the reel, and that'll help you keep things straight. But it's always good to keep a reel, and of course, you know, different types of weights, floats, just everything is in this side. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have ever watched Cribs or not, but this is my version of where the magic happens. In the cockpit, I have a Helix 9 and a Lowrance 12. Both of them are excellent. I get a lot of questions of, you know, which one I prefer or which one I use, Lowrance or Humminbird. I use both of them. They both have their pluses, they both have their minuses, and are equally impressive in what they can see and what you can see with them. A little bit farther, another place for storage is always, you know, underneath. As you can see in this one, I keep, you know, the spare foot pedal for the trolling motor in case the remote goes bad. You always want to keep an extra prop because you never know when you're going to hit something. Jumper cables, you know, all your legal stuff for your boat is in there. Something else that's really important, especially in cold weather, is to have some sort of dry clothing. And as you can see, I put everything in plastic bags, and even though it's in a tote, it's under the console, it still has the potential of getting wet. So something like as small as this right here could actually save your life. Keep that in mind. And of course, more reels, fire extinguishers, all that sort of thing. Now, also first aid gear, dry clean, paper towels, things like that. And this is also a good time of the year to make sure and go ahead and check your fire extinguishers, your air horns, things of that nature, to make sure that everything is up to par before you get on the water, before you get checked by the Coast Guard, and nobody likes a ticket. So keep that in mind too. Okay, so one thing I wanted to point out real quick was these boats actually come with nets that, you know, hook here and go down to the bottom, but they're a complete pain in the butt. They don't hold nothing in, and to me they're useless. So if you can see underneath there, I actually put two 90-degree angle pieces and just screwed them straight to the floor, and that just keeps the tote underneath the console. If you're in waves or going down the road or whatever, you don't have to worry about it coming out, flipping over, all your stuff getting scattered out. So keep that in mind. That might help you out whenever you're trying to find some place to store stuff in your boat. Okay, so moving back towards the back of the boat, as you can see, I got monster rod holders on. These things are monster strong. As you can, you know, once again, they are part of the boat. I depend on these things. They will absolutely turn the boat around. I use 0.33s. They do everything I need to do. So I know he makes, you know, Stampedes and 45s and different ones for different people's likes, and you can check the description out for a link to his website and go order you some. Guarantee they will last you and will do whatever you need them to do. Alright, so the cutting board. I've been getting a lot of questions on the cutting board, where I got it, if I bought it or if I made it myself. The material is nothing more than a big cutting board that I bought at Sam's Club, but obviously you need sides on it, some place to stick your knives, you know, net, things like that. So what I done was I just took it, measured it down. I believe it's like 15 inches across and 12 deep, and I just ripped excess off of it, used the excess off the piece of cutting board for the sides, and then I had as you can see, a little tiny piece left over from one of the front pieces that I've cut, and I just screwed it to the back, and it works good to hold the knives. This is actually a pipe clamp that I bought from a hardware store. Holds the net just fine, and I bolted it down with 1/2-inch bolts to the monster rod holders on the rail. All right, so now we're at the back of the boat and we want to look at the Livewell. CR 200s and the 240s have the 80-gallon Livewell. It's winter time. I'm not going to be fishing any tournaments right now, so it is storage. As you can see, that's another 30-pound anchor. Two cast nets. You got plenty of room. You know, you can use this as storage if you need to be. For my Livewell setup during tournament fishing, I have a Keep Alive system pump with just the Keep Alive aeration system, and then I have the stone is actually for an oxygen system that I have set up in the back. And in the wintertime, I take the tank off the oxygen system so I don't crack nothing or mess anything up. But that's the Livewell. It is very, very important in the process of keeping these fish alive during long tournament hours and hot summer heat. It's powered by a 175 Mercury Pro XS. Great motors, they run strong. And in the very back you can see I have all my batteries. More, this is like just tools, fuses, little things like that. Once again, power charger. These little totes, military, or not military, but just ammo boxes, are absolutely great for keeping things dry. In this is my calling system and a little bit of dead red. This stuff, I'm not a true believer in a lot of gimmick things, but for catching channel cats, small blue cats and things like that, and this stuff really does work. But fish grips, and that's just a calling system you want to make sure to have if you're gonna fish tournaments. You know, it's easy. You're not having to pull the fish in and out of the live well to weigh them, which one's bigger or the other. You already know. Crank and battery, and the battery for the sonars. One other tip is, whenever you're doing your sonars, have one battery solely for them. You will have straight power running from a battery to a sonar, will give you zero interference and will give you the best clear picture possible. That's just another sonar tip for you. So that's a look at what I fish out of, the ProCat 200 Sea Arc. Hope you've learned something. Maybe you've seen something to help you guys out, setting your boat up, setting your rig up. Remember, more space you can possibly get on the floor, the cleaner it is, and more organized it is, the safer it is. And that's ultimately going to help you out in catching more fish. So keep that in mind. Until next time, we'll catch you on the water. That didn't sound like worth a hoot, did it? I've been getting a lot of questions on